Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Brand, where we interview the top sales producers at Illustrated Properties, and we talk about their story and talk about their reasons for being successful. And today we have a really, really exciting story to tell and a great conversation that we're going to have with Bo Allen, the leader of the Allen team. He started out in 1991. He is a true industry veteran. As he puts it, he started out with a beeper and a bag of quarters, and some of our millennials don't even understand what that means. But that's the way this business was, and he was successful then, and he's successful now. So, Bo Allen, really excited you're here today.
Good afternoon. Nice to be here.
Yeah, this is fun.
So I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Aaron and Jonathan, but
Yep.
got to mention them right away.
We absolutely will mention them. You're obviously the leader of a team, and it's a family business.
Right.
And you all have been doing it at a high level for a long time, and everybody's got their role on the team, and you sell a lot of houses and have taken care of a lot of people. Talk about that? Talk about the team and how you use each other's strengths to walk through this crazy real estate adventure.
As Aaron would say, I'm the rainmaker, and probably never met anybody that I didn't like.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always yappy to drag me out of the parties. Jonathan is more of our social media guru.
Yeah.
Being 39, he's all over that aspect of the marketing. And then Aaron's a retired court reporter, and
Wow.
she's been doing this for 17 years with me, and she's super organized. As far as traditional postcard mailings.
Yep.
And the way we write the verbiages in our listings, she's very, very creative, and so each of us have our own little strong spot.
You have a little niche. Well, you can get out and talk to people, and it sounds like they're on the back end, obviously filling their role. And man, this is a lot more fun. As crazy as real estate is, it's a lot more fun than the legal world, which I came from too. But being a court reporter, that's a lot of grinding.
It was a lot of grinding. I used to call it final exam week every day.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah, you can't make a mistake. There's no doubt. It's like a big listing
And those
appointment
attorneys
every
want
day.
everything yesterday, but they don't want to pay for it until 2 months. But anyway, yeah. So we're a team and a family, and we make it work, and haven't gotten a divorce or anything. So I think it's
that's a success, right?
It's a success.
That's a success. Yeah. Well, you're one of the what I call the core of our company. These are people that we rely upon and we ask questions to and we lean on and we say, hey, we might go in this direction. What do you think? And you've garnered the respect of everybody in our Manalapan office there, and you and Bo and John. But how did you get into the business? Talk about the origin of this whole crazy thing.
In a nutshell, I grew up in the restaurant business. In college, I wanted to make a couple extra bucks, so I started delivering pizzas. And within a year, I was managing Little Caesars Pizza on Mission Street in Mount Pleasant, Michigan.
And you grew up in Detroit, right?
I grew up right outside Detroit in Birmingham. Came down here on a spring break. It was actually '79, and went home, dropped all my classes, packed up my car, and came back. My family had a restaurant on Forest Hill Boulevard, Beefeater Steak Pit and Tavern. Went through real quickly there, because with that family situation didn't work out so well working for family. Ended up as working at a Bennigan's in town, which isn't here anymore, and met Burt Reynolds' roommate from college.
Wow.
And ended up working for Burt for 5 years, with a group of people that took care of him, and had a lot of fun with that. Ended up trying to open up my own restaurant, and went broke, lost everything, sold my car, and kicked around, managed Charlie's Crab in Palm Beach, which is no longer here,
Wow.
and then was tending bar at the Banana Boat, and some regular customers came in quite often and always sat with me, vice president of a bank that's no longer around, and a mortgage broker, and they kept saying, you need to get out of this business. And one day they came in and they handed me an envelope, and they said, we paid for your class for Gold Coast Real Estate.
Wow.
So I took the class, and she said, when you get the license, I already have a job for you to work at Caldwell Banker, the South Dixie office, and there was some legends working there. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got in the business.
No kidding. Yeah. And that I would imagine, because you've seen multiple markets at this point, since '91, and I don't know if any of them, we kind of moan and complain about a little bit of the activity slowing down as compared to the last couple of years, but it was nothing like 2008. I mean, that was a tough one. I guess we had a little blip in the, before the 92 election, but nothing was like that Great Recession year there.
I mean, when it happened, I remember reflecting, because I knew I'd be sitting here. Everybody was walking around my office going, "This is horrible. It's stuff. This. I don't want to work with short sale people. There's all the business out there, short sales. The banks don't know what they're doing," and everybody was complaining. And I read about a short sale class that they were offering in Miami, and I took the very first class and drove down there, spent the night, and became a certified short sale specialist. Learned about cash for keys and how to write a hardship letter. And the following year, I bought and sold 12 homes.
No kidding.
I was able to I got pick of the litter.
Yeah.
I was going to meet people to help them. They were upside down in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Bush passed a law that made it that the money that you didn't pay, that you should have paid, would be income.
Yep.
And he passed a law that said that would no longer be counted as capital gains income, which actually made that a very lucrative spot for me. And I did very well, established some relationships with attorneys and tried to make a go of it while the market was flipped.
Well, you found an opportunity, when it was when nobody else did. That's for sure. Talk about that, overcoming adversity, because I mean, one of the objectives of me doing this and bringing out our top producers is to feature them, and also, maybe we've got somebody out there that is struggling. Maybe they're in the restaurant business like you were, and it's all going south, and they're trying to figure out what to do, or they're in any other business, and of course, if they can learn from those lessons. Talk about overcoming adversity and kind of your story as it relates to to working through those stages of life.
I think you just have to keep your eyes open, go back to the basics, hard work, and I always prided myself when I was in an office situation. I was always the first person in the office, and if there was a contest, I was always fixated on winning it.
Yeah.
And you just got to have your eyes wide open in this business. I alluded to earlier. I was driving down a street yesterday in a neighborhood that I farm the day before yesterday. And there was a moving truck, a U-Haul, and there was a young man. I didn't recognize him, and he was sweating like crazy. And I pulled over and said, "Are you guys moving?" And he goes, "Yeah, my mom's moving." I go, "Yeah, I know. She's been here a really long time. And how about your sister?" And he goes, "Oh, she passed away." And I go, "I'm really sorry. I didn't know," because I knew they had houses next to each other. So we just chatted for a few minutes, and I said, "Well, I'm a realtor. I'm the number one agent in this market here. And if you guys need some help later on, once you get squared away, I'd love to help you." The next morning, yesterday morning, I decided I drove to Bud's Chicken. I got a $28 supersized 10-piece coleslaw, cornbread, baked bean, huge meal deal thing, and drove it down to their house and walked up, knocked on the door, and said, "You guys must be hungry."
Yeah.
So I went to hand her the food, and I took my card and started to hand my card to her, and she says, "I don't need your card. I have it stapled to my last will and testament. I've been following you for 25 years."
Wow.
So I think it's just, you have to.
Unbelievable.
It's doing it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
For me, it was, I got involved with the city in 1993, City of Lake Worth Beach. I sat on a historic preservation board, planning and zoning. People said you should run for commissioner, so I ran and I won and I won, and I was in my third term. And then in the early 2000s, I just announced during my third term that I was not going to run again. And while we were doing that, we opened up the first B&B in town. We bought a 10-room house, and we were actually featured in Southern Living and Country Living. They came and did an article about Aaron, not me.
Yeah.
And we just did a lot of things in town. There's a big festival in Lake Worth called the Lake Worth Street Painting Festival, and this is the 30th year. And Aaron and I were the founders of that festival.
Wow, that's unreal.
So we did it with another couple artists, because we can't draw.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about art, but we just always found a way to just get involved with the community. So recently, we paid to have buddy benches, which is part of a national anti-bullying program, put at every elementary school in Lake Worth to try to promote that. Be a buddy, not a bully. There's a book that goes with it. So yeah, we just always, I think the key is to get involved with your community, whatever it is. If it's a church, if it's a baseball team, bowling league, badminton, whatever you do, and get involved with it for the long term.
Yeah. Well, as we look at your business, from the corporate office, and you've got a lot of people admiring your business. I mean, that there are a couple staples, and one is that is you're doing business the way it's traditionally been done at a high level over long periods. You've got a lot of people that are moving it down here. You've got a lot of people that are that are trying to chase the high average sales price that we have obviously here in South Florida, but they're not belly to belly, face to face in their local market, getting involved and being driven by the ultimate reward in this business, which is helping people. Which that's a great story that you told. I mean, that probably makes the tough days and the crazy days when you're trying to put transactions together and hold things together. That probably makes it all worth it, right there.
It does. I mean, it's to me, it's nose to nose, toes to toes.
There you go.
And it's, I think a lot of agents kind of miss the boat. I spent a lot of time. I just listed a house, North L Street, and the sign's going to go up in about a week. And I spent 5 minutes at the beginning talking to them because I wanted to know their why. I think agents need to slow down and get the sellers to explain what it is that they're looking for. Yeah. Why are they leaving? Where are they going? And what are their grandkids' names? I want to know as much as I can because it'll be ammunition for me later. But it's to really figure out, are they driven to what their goal is, and then try to plug yourself in to help them beat that goal. Yeah. And that's, to me, it's, that's the beginning of what I'd call a successful listing, is finding out what their why is. And then no matter what they say, you just say, I got a plan for that.
That's right.
So whatever they say, I got a plan for it. And you just, over the years, you develop a list in your head of handyman, painters, plumbers, AC guys. And I got a guy. I got a guy for everything.
Yep. I was reading a book called Selling the Invisible, and of course that's what you sell. You sell reputation, you sell professionalism, you sell doing things the right way. You sell, when the kitchen gets hot in a transaction, you got to have somebody that knows how to get you out and those type of things. But all that's invisible. It's really hard to communicate. You're not selling a phone or something tangible. And one of the things it talks about is the most successful people that are able to sell the invisible. They build that team, and it's a team of contractors and plumbers and title people and lenders, and it takes all of those people to get us to the closing table. Especially now, because you've got litigation issues, you've got regulatory issues, you've got insurance issues, you've got the inflation and the financial markets doing what they're doing, and it really takes everybody involved to get to the finish line.
I tell people, I say, I'm a tour bus driver.
Yeah.
And you're going to get on my bus, and I'm going to prepare your house, price it correctly. We're going to do professional photos. We're going to market it. We're going to expose it. We're going to be here for all the showings. And we're going to take you through the whole process. And no matter what happens, I already know how to handle it. Yeah. And I'll give you some options of things you could consider. I'll never tell you what to do, but I'll always be able to give you, hey, these are a couple things you might want to consider. You give it some thought, and then we'll decide which direction you want to go. Yeah. But if you make people feel comfortable that you're going to take them through the entire process, because it's stressful. To move is stressful, and you have to realize that. And this whole idea of bringing somebody some food, we do it all the time. Yeah. Because if you show up at somebody's house with some food when they're packing, and you bring an 8-pack of Gatorade and a bunch of food because you know they probably aren't cooking, it just sets you apart. And it's simple. It's way cheaper than a postcard.
That's right.
Way cheaper.
That's right. Well, you've got a heck of a business. I got one more question for you before we go. And you and I've talked about it. You're a member of Bear Lakes Country Club, so you've met all kinds of people and athletes. But if you could have dinner with anybody in the world that's living or not living anymore, who would that be?
I thought about that, and Henry Ford, Abraham Lincoln, interesting people, assembly, keeping our country together. And I think it might be Aaron's dad.
Wow.
I called him and I said, I want to marry your daughter. And he goes, why? I said, I love her. And he goes, well, I expect you to take good care of her.
Yeah.
He died a long time ago, way early. And he never really got to see us pop.
Wow.
You know, the second home, the memberships at clubs.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have him be able to see that we made a good life.
Yep. You made it. You made it. Well, thank you for everything you do for Illustrated. We're really grateful for you and Aaron and John and the things that you are doing to help everybody every day. So I appreciate that.